Welcome back to Bike Extraction, the channel where we take apart motorcycles not just in specs, but in soul. If you want to understand how a bike feels, why it matters, and what it says about the people who ride it, you're in the right place. The Kawasaki Z900RS SE has always walked a fine line between past and present. It wears the skin of the legendary Z1 from the 1970s, but underneath it carries the engineering of a modern Kawasaki. For 2026, the RS SE hasn't been reinvented, it's been refined. This year, Kawasaki doubled down on details, improving the suspension, tuning the electronics, and updating the finish so that it's not just a motorcycle, but a statement. The real question is, has Kawasaki finally perfected its most important retro machine? At the heart of the Z900RS SE is the same 948 cubic centimeters inline-four that has defined this model since its debut. With around 111 horsepower on tap and torque peaking at 98.5 Nm, it isn't chasing superbike numbers, but that's the beauty of it. The delivery is smooth, progressive, and usable across the entire rev range. Around town, it's docile and forgiving, letting you ride lazily in higher gears. But twist the throttle past 6,000 RPM, and the bike wakes up with a crisp surge that feels eager without being intimidating. Kawasaki has deliberately tuned the intake and exhaust to echo the throaty growl of the original Z1, giving the SE a soundtrack that pulls as much on your heart as it does on the tarmac. The Öhlins S46 rear shock is the centerpiece of the SE package. Unlike the base Z900RS, this shock offers not just preload adjustment, but rebound damping control that lets riders fine-tune the ride. On bumpy city streets, it smooths out imperfections with a plushness you wouldn't expect from a sport-oriented machine. Push it into fast sweepers, and the shock firms up, keeping the rear wheel glued to the asphalt. The fully adjustable 41mm inverted front fork complements it perfectly, allowing you to dial in compression and rebound for your style. It's this combination that transforms the SE into something more than a cosmetic upgrade. It's a bike that feels carved for spirited riders who demand feedback. Kawasaki didn't stop at suspension. The braking setup is borrowed from high-performance territory. Dual 300mm discs clamped by Brembo M4.32 calipers. These radial-mounted calipers are designed for both power and modulation, giving you confidence whether you're scrubbing speed before a corner or making a controlled stop in traffic. The rear 250mm disc provides stability, and with Kawasaki's updated ABS calibration for 2026, intervention feels less intrusive, especially in wet or uneven conditions. For riders who push hard, the brakes finally match the capabilities of the engine and chassis. The trellis frame of the Z900RS SE is more than just a structural piece, it's the foundation of the bike's character. High-tensile steel tubes create a strong but flexible backbone, giving the bike stability at speed while still allowing a touch of flex that makes it feel alive in corners. At 215 kilograms fully fueled, it isn't the lightest machine in the class, but Kawasaki engineers tuned the geometry to make it feel nimble. The narrow waist and predictable weight distribution mean that once rolling, the bike dances more gracefully than its numbers suggest. While many modern bikes chase the digital arms race, Kawasaki has kept the RS SE's electronics understated. The traction control system offers just a couple of modes, designed to keep riders safe without numbing the experience. The ABS system has been refined this year, using improved sensors for smoother engagement. What you won't find are layers of menus or endless customization. Instead, Kawasaki keeps it simple, letting the bike remain mechanical at its core. That restraint is part of the RS SE's charm. It feels like a motorcycle first, and a computer second. Styling is where the Z900RS SE cements its identity. The round LED headlight, twin analog-style dials, and sculpted teardrop fuel tank immediately recall the Z1. But they've been modernized with flawless finishes and crisp lighting. For 2026, Kawasaki has introduced new liveries that honor the past while looking fresh, including a striking two-tone scheme that mirrors the iconic candy-tone paint of the 1970s. Every line of the bike feels like a love letter to Kawasaki's history, yet details like LED lighting, precision paintwork, and premium touches remind you this is no museum piece. On the road, the ergonomics define the experience. An 845mm seat height, wide bars, and mid-set pegs create a natural upright stance that invites long rides. Unlike sportier machines, you don't fold yourself into the cockpit, you settle onto it. The seat itself is broad and cushioned, supporting both rider and passenger for real-world journeys. On commutes, it feels civilized, and on highways, it feels steady and composed. When the road tightens and the corners come alive, the balance of comfort and control shines, reminding you why the RS SE is often described as the best everyday retro sport. Finally, price. The 2026 Kawasaki Z900RS SE commands a premium over the standard RS, largely due to its Öhlins and Brembo upgrades. In the US, expect it to land between $14,000 and $15,000. For some, that's steep when you can buy more powerful machines for the same money. But this bike isn't about raw numbers, it's about how it makes you feel when you glance back at it after parking, or when its exhaust note stirs something in your memory. It's a motorcycle for riders who want their machine to be more than transportation. Its